Hello, Superhero Critic here, and thank you for watching this compilation of Easter episodes. I wanted to try to get an Easter episode done and recorded, but just didn't have time. So it'll be pushed to next year. Meanwhile, enjoy this compilation of 5 different Easter episodes, including Bible Man, VeggieTales, and of course the Velocipastor. Thank you for watching.
Hello, I'm your superhero critic, and I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome.
VeggieTales is a mostly direct-to-video format kids Christian show created by Phil Vischer and Mike Noraki, developed by DreamWorks subsidiary Big Idea Entertainment. This show features anthropomorphic fruits and vegetables retelling and recreating the Christian Bible stories and morals.
In other words, it's a show that teaches children to rely on God for everything, and any of their own personal problems can just be forgotten.
The show itself has had huge run-in since it started, having reruns on the Christian station Trinity Broadcasting Network and NBC, and even has a couple of films on Netflix. The show mainly focuses on retelling stuff like David and Goliath, but they also do parodies of pop culture stuff like making the Christmas Carol about Easter and making a Lord of the Rings flick. But today, we are looking at a huge superhero parody revolving around Larry Boy. Yes, they took the main character of Larry the Cucumber and gave him his own set of specials, from the fib from outer space to the bad apple to the rumor weed.
But today I am torturing myself with a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen's parody, the League of Extraordinary Vegetables. Kill me now!
The movie starts with the logo literally being farted out of a tuba as the vegetables start the show's intro.
If you like to talk to tomatoes,
I'm scared!
you smile. If you like to waltz with potatoes, up and down the produce aisle. Excuse me. Have we got a show for you?
What did I get myself into?
Our special actually starts with Larry and Bob addressing the kids, watching as Larry's butler Alfred gives him a note from a fan.
Quite distressing message from Sean Smith of Youngstown, Ohio. Dear Larry Boy, I'm afraid to be in my room alone at night. I'm afraid of thunderstorms, bugs, and dogs. I'm also afraid of snakes.
Ooh, snakes. Yeah, they're creepy.
What can I do when I feel afraid? Your friend Sean.
First things first is you could stop sending letters to cucumbers. Secondly, look at Larry. That just screams, I want to fuck you with my entire body.
The actual film begins in a museum as the baby carrot Laura and the asparagus Junior look around and find a gun within a case.
Tis the fear dart, invented by a mad scientist to detect exactly what someone's afraid of, and use that fear as a power source.
Why would someone invent that?
If it's so damn powerful, why is it inside of a museum instead of heavily guarded or destroyed? You are to blame for everything that happens in this movie. I hope you realize that.
The Special Goes Mission Impossible mode has penguins decide to steal the Fear Dar. So Larry becomes his alter ego, but is quickly outsmarted by penguins.
You have to get up pretty early in the morning, so... Wake me up when the pancakes are ready, Mommy.
Okay, movie, you got one laugh out of me. Good job.
The penguins quickly wrap up Larry Boy, who calls Alfred for help, summoning the League of Incredible Vegetables, and we learn who they are.
That's Escape. He can get out of anything, including perilous situations or fiendish traps.
Clearly, this guy is good at escaping.
Her name's Vogue. That high-tech suit can transform into just about anything, as long as it's fashionable.
I wonder if she's friends with Madonna.
That's Thingamabob. Master of gadgetry. With any tool, the hero can be passed into his super tool belt.
Thingamabob needs a sidekick named whatchamacallit. He could be a chocolate bar.
Our heroes chase after the penguins, only for there to be a gate in the way, which Junior helps by snowballing it open. With the penguins giving up, Alfred brings up Junior's bravery and gives us our first Bible lesson.
The Bible tells us when we're afraid, we can put our trust in God.
Always remember, kids, you can be brave by trusting imaginary friends.
The penguins break out of the police vehicles, we head to Larry Boy's cave, and our group asks Junior to be their first young hero. We then meet our villain, Dr. Flurry, who shows us that his biggest fear is the League themselves.
When I see those heroes round the bend, my swagger meets an untimely end.
Hooray! It's a musical now! Skip!
The guard alerts the team of the fact that the Fear Dar was a fake, and
now it's time for Silly Songs with Larry Boy, the part of the show where Larry Boy comes out and sings a silly song. We join the...
No. Go back to the real plot of the movie. This is not some commercial cut.
Don't fear, oh, I am the superhero.
He is the superhero.
Yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum.
First off, this song is stupid. Second off, this is why kids have ADHD. And third, skip!
okay, back to the actual plot where Bob and Larry, finding a shopping list at the museum, has a clue, while Junior goes through a montage of trying on different supersuits until he figures out he likes the bouncing suit the most.
One caveat. I need to waterproof this suit before you go on a mission. The bouncing mechanism is electrical.
So if you got wet, it would stop working. No problem. I've been out of pull-ups for years.
And even coming from an asparagus, that is fucking disgusting.
The Doctor begins attacking the city and bragging about his Fear Dar by targeting each hero's fear, but it's apparently not enough to keep the power going since Bob, Vogue, and Larry all get over their fears very quickly, which impresses Junior enough for him to join the battle.
Oh no!
I can't bounce. This suit isn't working.
Congratulations. The one thing you're told not to do is the one thing you fucking went and did. You're an asshat.
Flurry targets our fearful asparagus, but Larry steps in the way, causing him to become frozen himself. The Doctor disappears with him. Meanwhile, the League is trying to figure out where the Doctor went. Junior goes to pull his suit up, and Alfred bursts into song to cheer him up.
When he fought the giant Philistine Goliath, that scary armor...
Trust this. Skip.
The League heads to the Doctor's store as his giant robot egg hatches.
Well, the egg has become a giant robot penguin. I did not expect that. Okay. Good on you.
Alfred and Junior watch as the League are frozen solid, but Junior is determined to prove himself by luring him in. Alfred sneaks into the Penguin only to make things worse. As Junior gets the suit wet again, he then puts all of his fears aside.
Doesn't matter how scary you are. When I'm afraid, I can trust in God.
Try telling that to the people who run for their lives in fear of all you white supremacists out there.
Junior chucks a snowball at the Penguin, making it so the League can break free, saving the day for everyone. Junior is then given the ability to become a full member, and even given his own vehicle. The special ends with another counter joke.
This special is honestly not that bad. It's VeggieTales. It's what you ask for, it's what you get. That being said, I am not a very religious person, and I honestly just don't like types of shows like this that teach you that you have to have God in your life in order to be a normal person or to have no fears or anything else that most of the VeggieTales films and cartoons actually teach your kids. That being said, I'm your superhero critic. I'm probably going to get a lot of asshole comments for this review, but fuck it. And always remember, I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome. Now we will get back to Homecoming that I promised last week, but decided to knock this out since this review is coming out close to Easter/April Fool's Day. So I will get back to Homecoming, and thank you for watching. Hello, I'm your superhero critic, and I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome. And even though it's Easter, I'm still not a very religious person. So let's tear apart something Christian related. Today's review is an American direct-to-video Christian series created by Willie Ames, better known for playing Fred Robinson on Swiss Family Robinson, Tommy Bradford from 8 is Enough, and voicing Hank the Ranger on Dungeons & Dragons, the cartoon show from the 80s. Willie himself plays Bible Man, who is a Christian superhero who fights evil usually by quoting scripture for his fighting. So is the show good? Absolutely not. But anyway, let's dive into the first episode of Bible Man. Pamplin Entertainment brings us the show, and that title sequence has the only stars you're going to see throughout this entire video. We begin with the show's kids singing about the Bible.
Ever found a book that has everything from hidden treasures to battles and kings?
Don't forget about that murder! While the kids sing, the editor gets stupid with unnecessary effects such as screen splitting and words popping into your face. The only time I want to see words flashing in my face is if I'm watching an episode of 1960s Batman. The kids get super depressed on how they sound.
Well, that was really,
Well, I feel that it sounded, well...
Does anyone else have the feeling that these kids are only singing so their parents can have a paycheck? The kids agree they aren't ready, but have to do the show anyway. We then meet Miles. You are acting too hard!
I hate it when that happens.
The kids lie about their issues and rush Miles out the door.
The show, okay? All right, bye-bye.
I hate it when that happens.
This isn't funny!
Miles then overhears the kids' problems and prays for help, turning into Bible Man.
It's a big, big about.
Lord, I pray for something better to watch than this piece of shit. What is poking me in the butt? I said better, not worse!
Bible Man, who looks like a Christian Magneto, appears and has the kids explain that they are scared to do the show.
Oh, we're gonna get creamed.
I see.
Probably.
Bible Man then tells the kids of the story where he gets his ass kicked by Decepto, who looks like Beakman had sex with the Hulk. Bible Man then prays for courage.
So tell me, where's the rest of the story that Bible Man is leaving out, you know, telling the kids how he got all this courage to climb out of the pit? No, that would make the story actually interesting. No, we just cut fade to, oh, I've saved the day already. Fuck you.
Bible Man tells the kids to have faith, and we go to another song about the Bible as one of the kids' fathers comes in and asks how much longer before talking to the kids themselves.
Hey, mister, we want to see the Bible Man show. Yeah, we've been waiting a long time. Yeah.
Just be patient.
Listen here, you little piece of shit, don't make me fucking hurt you. The kids' show starts with all of them showing anxiousness, and we start with yet another song about the Bible being the only book worth reading before we get yet another song about the Bible being the only book worth reading.
Find out just how long it's been when I need an education all about history. I go to the Bible.
Because, you know, you can't let kids actually read history to know all the bad things that Christians have done over the years. Because, you know, Christians are good people.
Politics are what I really need. The Bible is the first book that I read.
Because, you know, Christian politics have worked for this country for so long.
When all I've got is science on my mind, I run and fetch my Bible just in time. I can read about how the world was born, animals, minerals, and so much more. When all I've got is science on my mind.
Because, you know, who needs scientific facts when we have an invisible friend in the sky?
After the number, Bible Man joins the show named after him as the kids sing about him before he himself just talks on and on about the Bible before we get yet another song.
So we could live in his perfect love.
Skip!
Oh hey, look, yet another song about the Bible.
You can read about Jesus from the time of his birth.
You can also read about banishment over an apple.
After the final song number, Miles comes in to congratulate the kids and gives us more slapstick that we didn't ask for.
This guy is hysterical.
I hate it when that happens.
The show has gone through multiple variations from 1995 to the present, being revived 2 times, given live performances, and is currently an animated series airing on B&H Kids. The show gets constant criticism ranging from how bad the show actually is made to make it seem that
Anti-Christians
are the ones who made the show. Another point is that despite having an episode dedicated to violence awareness, parents still have issues with the show, giving it a 1% of sales regarding the Christian video market, yet still made enough to create action figures, a board game, books, and even a video game.
Okay, so all of my fun poking aside, I do understand why this show was created. To help Christian kids understand what their Bible represents and to go to their material to solve problems that they may have throughout their lives. But at the same time, the songs teach their kids to only rely on the Bible, and personally, as a non-Christian, I believe that's a form of brainwashing. But hey, that's just the person who thinks with logic and reason. That being said, I am 100% sure this episode has pissed off a lot of my fans, or lack thereof. That being said, join me next week when we begin this year's Batman. I'm your superhero critic. I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome.
Bible Man's coming, so you better stick around. A brand new episode is coming to your town. A whole lot of fun with the greatest book of all. Yeah, the Bible Man's coming and it's gonna be a ball. Go get everyone you know, 'cause it's just about time.
Hello, I'm your superhero critic, and I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome. What can I say about this film? It takes dinosaurs, combines it with superhero stuff, and throws in a religious pastor.
This amazing film idea came to the mind of fellow YouTuber Brandon Steer, who came up with this idea back in 2010 when his phone autocorrected a text of his while he was attending the School of Visual Arts in Manhattan. Brandon had made a bunch of fake Grindhouse-style trailers for his classes, but this is the one that blew up, making him go forth and want to make it a full-length film instead of just a fake trailer. Fast forward to 2016, after multiple failed crowdfunding attempts, the film finally found its funding through an investor filming with a $35,000 budget.
So, bear with us as we take a look at one of the dumbest film ideas I've ever heard. As we take a look at Velocipastor.
Our movie is apparently rated X based on an all-Christian jury.
That is clearly biased, since you can't have a jury that doesn't include more than one type of people.
Our hero Doug is currently giving a sermon, but after it he happily sees his parents across the street and tries to walk to them.
No. No. No!
We're not even a minute into the movie, and we're already lazy with the special effects. It can't even get one car explosion. I know my effects and my reviews have been terrible, but that's done on purpose. This is just pure dumb shit.
Doug begins his morning, and his fellow pastor Stuart has some choice words of advice.
It's what parents do. They die on you.
Well, it's no with great power comes great responsibility, but at least your pastor's blunt and honest. He's a dick, but he's blunt and honest.
Stuart continues his advice giving, with him suggesting Doug goes traveling to see the world with the film, giving us a really weird edit of the pastors on top of themselves, speaking separately timed speeches before he follows Doug to a Chinese forest, where he runs into a random girl who begs him for help after she's shot with an arrow.
Oh my god! Are you hurt?
She has an arrow in her chest. I guarantee she is fucking hurt, you douchebag.
After a failed language barrier attempt to understand the woman who wants Doug to destroy the artifact that she's holding, Doug is scratched with the artifact and he backs away, falling over. Doug quickly wakes up at the church, questioning what's going on. Doug then walks around the town like a drunk man, running into a homeless man, bumping into our main female lead, Carol, who then has to talk to her pimp, Frankie the Mermaid.
Pick up, Carol, I'm gonna give you the fucking boot!
'Cause you're swimming in bitches.
You goddamn right!
Just swimming in bitches. Swimming in bitches.
That night, as Doug is trying to hold back a transformation, Carol heads to the park, almost getting jumped by a random thug, until Doug's new dino side pops in to save the day. Doug then wakes up the next day in Carol's apartment, questioning what's going on, and she tries to tell him how he saved her life, but he assumes they slept together, but she reassures him he just transformed into a dinosaur.
That doesn't matter. I don't believe you.
Can you please put some clothes on him?
The two of them head to the woods where she shows him the dead body, but in their discussion, her job comes up and he's more shocked over the fact that she's a sex worker than the fact that he's killed someone, 'cause, you know, we can't respect that type of job, can we? No, murdering someone isn't that bad.
Hey, douchebag, there's a tree there. You might not want to walk into it.
Carol believes that Doug's power should be used to kill the bad people of the world and tries to convince him of this, but instead he just runs off to do confessionals, and in those confessionals he has to Frankie.
Why did you kill them?
And ends up
Kill them!
confessing way too much
just
fucked up
Padre.
shit for me to
Doesn't
talk
mean nothing
about.
by it. They were my
including
parents!
admitting
I'm
being
sorry? Tell me
responsible
why.
for
Tell me who
Doug's
ordered their
death.
death. I have no idea
To
why
which
they
Doug
reached this, Padre.
responds the way
They got
that
their claws
any
and
other
everything.
person would.
I don't know nothing. You might as well just kill me now. Okay!
Get what you fucking deserve!
Doug goes back to Carol and asks how they can do her idea, and they decide to create a set of rules, including no one else knowing, as well as Doug still being a priest and the two promising to help each other out. Carol also thanks him for saving her from Frankie and the life that she was stuck in.
That high five, I don't know why it was needed. I don't know why it's in the movie. But that was actually funny. Point for the movie.
We then get a montage over Doug and Carol getting closer, as well as training that uses the comic book paneling type editing I really hate. But afterwards, we head to cheap mask-wearing ninjas who discuss the leader's missing drug money and taking care of the Dragon Warrior.
This isn't funny!
Father Stewart goes to see Doug because he's worried about what's going on with him.
You're not that different. There are plenty of men like that in the church.
No.
I can't even come up with a joke for that would even be funnier than the joke just said. Point 2 for the movie. You're getting good on me.
Stewart doesn't believe a word of what Doug is trying to tell him.
That's insane, Doug. God does not want people dead.
Our current nationwide pandemic would like to beg to differ.
Stewart then locks Doug in his room, and we go to get some flashbacks of his parents being happy before it turns into a parody of the Uncle Ben car scene from Spider-Man 1, where nothing is really accomplished story-wise. Stewart then takes Doug to an exorcist, played by Great Value brand Colin O'Donoghue, who talks about evils before jumping to a flashback of Stewart in the war that looks more like kids LARPing Call of Duty. Stewart's war buddy then gives him some advice on making a family.
Like this. Ollie! 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 No! No, Ollie!
So much for not being shot in the war. That lasted for all of 5 seconds.
The flashback continues with Stewart's girl rushing onto the battlefield.
Adeline!
Why was she on the battlefield? This flashback makes no sense. She deserved to become a little tiny bits of red all over you.
I don't think we can do anything for her now. She's too far gone.
No shit!
Now that the useless flashback segment is done, we can go back to the exorcism that eventually pushes the dino side of Doug out, attacking Stewart and running out the door. A group of ninjas then notice him and lay out their plans.
Wait, let me write this down. Okay, Jenny, you head left, down the side. I'm gonna use my phone.
Where's John Madden with the little football circles when you need him?
The ninjas are quickly murdered, and Doug goes to Carol's for help, and she ends up calming him down, with the two of them getting very close. Okay, so this next scene, I'm just going to tell you what it is. It's Doug and Carol having sex. But the way that the editing is, there's a lot of flashing lights and a lot of quick, flashy editing. And as someone who's slightly photosensitive for that type of thing, it was hard for me to go through that scene, and I really don't want to put it in the video. So, they have sex. Let's get on with it. Our lovebirds then wake up immediately to ninjas attacking them before we go straight back to kissing. Doug questions the ninja, who just replies with, "Remember your faith," and we then go to Stuart waking up and having to question our villain, so we get a bunch of exposition about Chan using Christians to get the city addicted to the cocaine.
The Christian faith is what I believe with all my heart, but you cannot forcibly convert the unwilling. That's
the mass amount of pagans that have died from Christians in the past would like to beg to differ. Our villain stabs Stuart, killing him before we jump back to Doug, who inner monologues before donning a leather jacket, and they head to take on the ninjas, with the lead ninja revealing something about Doug's parents.
You're not the only one who answered the call of God, brother.
Huh. It's almost like he's the red-headed step.
If you finish that sentence, I will hurt.
Our climax of the film begins as both sides comically fight with surprisingly good cinematography and Sam's massively cheesy dialogue. How did he just pull that sword to himself? When did he get force powers? Now that I think about it, a Jedi dinosaur would be kind of fucking cool. Doug gives an over-the-top stabbing to his brother, while Carol takes on all the ninjas at once, but then comes face to face with another who just slices her in the chest. Oh, I see that you're not going to defend yourself. Best defense ever! The ninjas just freaking stand around staring as Doug watches Carol die in his arm before going dino and killing everyone. And one of the things I have to point out is how terrible this dinosaur costume really is. It's honestly ridiculously hilarious, and is something you would see out of a cheesy horror film, and makes Barney the dinosaur a more believable dinosaur suit. However, the fight screeches to a halt when Doug is shot with an arrow. What kind of effect was that? Like, the de-transformation sequence was terrible. I have had better effects in my show. Our villain expositions about the Dragon Warrior being selected people to defend China, but as he taunts Doug, who just responds with reaching up and ripping off our villain's head, as he turns into a freaking mannequin and Doug just screams at the top of his lungs. We then go to the hospital and learn that Carol is okay and didn't actually die.
I'm fine.
You're fine.
I'm fine.
The movie then promotes sequel bait by Doug talking about having to continue doing things around the world, and we end with yet another makeout scene.
What I do best.
This film suffers from the "it's so bad it's good" syndrome. This film, for some ungodknown reason, has positive reviews all over, having a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, and between the cheesiness and actually interesting concept, the film drags you in and doesn't actually overbeat you in the head with, we're a good movie, so take us seriously. The film just plays around with its stupidity and makes the movie that much better to enjoy. So what more can you say about it? Check out this hour-long comedic take on dinosaurs and pastors. That being said, next week starts the 6th annual Bat-May. That being said, this year's Bat-May is going to begin with Assault on Arkham. I'm your superhero critic. I'll stay super as long as you stay also. Why do I put myself through this shit? Why? This show's not good. I don't know why I sat and actually watched an episode. But I needed something for Easter filler. I don't even want to go into details about what the show is. Teen Titans Go! Easter episode. Our short begins with Robin and the gang hunting for Easter eggs. Robin explains where the eggs will be, but once they begin looking for them, they can't find any, tearing apart the entire island. One single minute! And we already get a Teen Titans Go poop joke. Kill me now! Starfire then finds an egg. Bitch just ate a fucking bird. The Titans then realize that Easter is in trouble and head to find the Easter Bunny.
Every detail about Santa, how much he weighs, his facial skin conditions, the occasional ups and downs with his wife.
We also know how many hoes he's got. He's got 3. The Titans then debate on what the Easter Bunny actually looks like.
The half man, half rabbit, and lays the Easter eggs we eat.
To quote Animaniacs, spew! The Titans then gather up other holidays to interrogate them, beginning with Cupid, who shoots the boys, and they end up crushing on each other. Ha! Gay! The guys try to get things together, only to have a big group hug. The girls decide to take on Washington's interrogation, doing good cop, bad cop, with Starfire just beating the crap out of him, and a Thanksgiving turkey.
Not surprised. Between you and me, I hear he's gone kind of, you know.
No one fucking knows! Santa seems upset about the problem and suggests that maybe he should take over and help deliver the eggs. The next morning, a Christmas-themed Easter is held.
I'm gonna eat this bunny's badonkadonk.
And I am eating its badonka face. This is the greatest Easter.
Gotta eat that booty like groceries. I need help. Robin realizes while celebrating what Santa is really up to by understanding that Santa has been kidnapping the holiday mascots in order to take over every single holiday. But of course, the Jolly One has a plan transforming into a mech suit, and the Titans then enlist the help of the other holidays, and they brutally whoop Santa's butt, saving the day, allowing the Titans the ability to save the Easter Bunny. So that has been Teen Titans Go, the Easter short. I'm sorry I made you watch this. I'm sorry I had to sit through this. I'm sorry it was made. Teen Titans Go sucks! I wonder how many people I could piss off by reviewing this and bringing up the fact that Kylo Ren is the worst fucking Star Wars character in existence. I'd take Jar Jar over him.
Hey baby, I found something for you to review.
Oh, is it something we can review together?
Fuck no, I'm not watching this shit. So have you ever heard of a little public access show called Electra Elf and Fluffer?
Holiday Hubby Wubby?
And directed in 2003 by Nick Zed of such amazing films as Cockfight and the Death of Muffinhead, Electra Elf and Fluffer was a super low-budget public access show based on a superheroine and her chihuahua taking down corrupt senators and other criminals, and I am being
requested
to sit through one of these episodes.
And since this show and all the episodes are so hard to find or even buy, I did what I could find, and we're skipping the first episode. So with that being said, let's take a look at Electra Elf and Fluffer, Episode 2, Maggot on a Hot Tin Roof.
The episode begins with our heroine, Jennifer Swallows.
Swallows.
Making her way through the city, but is bombarded by people before Windows Movie Maker transition to the Troll Museum, where Jennifer is given a tour of troll dolls, and we are info dumped about a woman who donated a two-headed doll.
Nasal congestion accompanied by irritable bowel syndrome. Would you care for a cheese ball, dear?
That is 1,000% way too much information, thank you!
Miss Rogers then goes into a rant about tourists hurting businesses by just existing, and that maybe it's something bigger.
So our villains are Maggot Master and Red Snapper. I wonder if they have any connection to Slipknot. Or...
a red snapper. It's very tasty.
Our villains rant about their plan of creating tourists in order to help drive people out of their home and businesses, and the two then begin to disturbingly flirt with each other.
Well, I no longer need bottom surgery, seeing as my dick has fallen off in disgust.
We then meet another villain named Super Ulcer, who is what you'd get if Wolverine and Pee Wee Herman had a child together. But the other villains explain to him what their plan is, admitting that the maid tourists basically turn to dust once their jobs are done. But we have now literally spent close to 4 minutes being given exposition of a plan. Jennifer then heads to leave, only to be bombarded with more tourists.
God! The green screen is worse than Velocipaster!
Jennifer decides to investigate upstairs, finding piles of dust, communicating with her dog to head to their headquarters.
God, I know the budget for this is extremely fucking low, but holy fuck. It looks like kids playing with little tiny action figures. Can this please be over?
Electra Elf explains what's going on to her professor, who figures out that it's a Chinese restaurant. So she then heads over there, but is quickly trapped in a cage with Super Ulcer taunting Fluffer.
Okay, that's the first time I've legitimately actually laughed at a joke at this. Doesn't make it any better!
Fluffer releases his radioactive piss onto Super Ulcer as Elf easily escapes the cage. Maggot Master then sends in his tourists that quickly get defeated before Elf is hit from behind by Red Snapper. Elf wakes up to a creepy guy trying to be comedic relief, and our hero then uses her mirror of plot convenience to bounce the machine's laser into the Troll Museum, giving us our ending of extremely terrible stop-motion trolls taking over the city as Elf just lassos the villains together with no real fight, while the other is chased by a giant cheese ball.
This series is terrible.
The show lasted for a total of 2 seasons and 20 episodes and is one of the hardest shows I've ever had to look up in order to actually do a review for this.
I don't think I have to explain why this is so bad. The effects are bad. The acting is beyond subpar. And all in all, it's just terrible concept.
So, how'd it go?
Sometimes you disgust me!
Love you too, honey.